team of doctors were this evening dispatched to the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport following what was suspected to be an Ebola case.
The patient in question was traveling from Lubumbashi in the DRC when he started vomiting mid-air. Sources tell KTN that passengers from the aircraft that landed at about 6:45 p.m. were yet to leave the airport a short while ago.
For months now, Kenya has been on tenterhooks as Ebola continues to devastate West Africa, traditionally a key destination for the country's national carrier, Kenya Airways, with constant assurances from the government that everything is under control.
We have an established disease surveillance and response team, that coordinates potential disease outbreaks, including Ebola. We have also strengthened our surveillance at the port of entry.
The passenger in question is said to have started vomiting on the aircraft as it flew from Lubumbashi in the Democratic Republic of Congo to Nairobi, sending other passengers into panic. Several doctors from the Kenya Medical Research Institute were sent to the airport to carry out tests on the patient. And according to the Director of Medical Services, Dr. Nicholas Muraguri, there is no cause for alarm. Attention has lately shifted to the Democratic Republic of Congo following the outbreak of what experts have determined to be a different strain of Ebola from what has been seen in West Africa. Kenya has been in the radar of medical experts since the outbreak began in West Africa, since it is a major aviation hub on the continent. Earlier in the day, a senior U.S. health official warned Kenya to prepare for the possibility of its first Ebola case since the virus now appeared to be spiraling out of control. Joy Doreen Bira, KTN.
Let's now bring in the Director of Medical Services, Nicholas Muraguru, speaking to us live via the telephone now. Sir, we have learned that a team of doctors was dispatched to the JKIA. Kenyans are waiting. What do we know?
These are the latest facts. So we were alerted by Kenya Airways that a passenger en route from Lubumbashi was unwell in the aircraft and was vomiting. As part of our standard procedure, we quickly mobilized teams on the ground before the aircraft landed, and we sent in experts to review the passenger. Basically, what we noted that the particular passenger was basically vomiting and having diarrhea. He started today. He didn't have fever. He didn't have any other symptoms suggestive of Ebola. He was further reviewed, and a team of experts from our Ebola experts and Kenya Airways doctors excluded that they confirmed that the patient is not an Ebola case, and therefore we quickly released the aircraft and the passengers. So I just want to confirm that particular alert was well received, investigated, and confirmed that is not a suspected Ebola case, and therefore we have released both the aircraft and the passengers. So this is standard operating procedure as part of our shared responsibility between Kenya Airways and Kenya health authorities, and we basically collaborate to ensure that we all alert and respond appropriately.
When it comes back after
was not an Ebola case.
Yeah, no. So the passenger did not fit our case definition of a suspect Ebola, and therefore we have allowed the passenger of the aircraft to. We have released the passengers, that particular passenger, and all those who are in the aircraft, plus the aircraft to continue with the business. So basically, it was not a suspected Ebola case. It's
okay, sir, just before I let you go,
likely to be suffering from food poisoning.
Before I let you go, sir, what kind of preparedness do we have in place as a country? Kenya has been in the headlines a few times now, and so what kind of preparedness do we have? Supposing this was an Ebola case, how ready are we as a country?
So Kenya is among the few African countries that are ready to respond to a threat. Remember, since the outbreak was confirmed, we have been preparing accordingly. So we have 3 laboratories able to diagnose Ebola. Case 1 being Kemri, CDC, and Nairobi, University of Nairobi. We have also been training health workers on case management, and we have also intensified screening in all port of entry, both at the airport and also all our port of entries across our borders. So we have also been intensifying our preparedness to respond in terms of equipping hospitals and therefore we are better off because we have been prepared.
All right, thank you, sir. That is Nicholas Muraguri, the Director of Medical Services, just confirming the incident at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport earlier this evening, saying that it was not an Ebola case, confirming that it was indeed just a case of food poisoning. On to that story about money, and senators have found themselves in hot soup following reports that they are pushing to have new hefty perks. But as KTN's Wilson Mburu reports, the Deputy Speaker of that House says the proposals are in line with the actual work senators do.
It is not a new phenomenon in Kenya for our elected officials to be asking for additional money to their already bloated salaries. And now it is the turn of the senators to be milking the already malnourished taxpayer some more. It has been a long day for the senators after a story ran on the dailies detailing their proposal to have more money allocated to them in allowances, salaries and funds to hire staff and construct offices in their respective counties. A press conference called by the senators to address the county allocation bill was called off earlier in the day, even after keeping journalists waiting for over 2.5 hours.
Okay, we're starting now.
But Senate Deputy Speaker Kembi Gitura says they deserve every penny that they are seeking.
Our main interest is to see that there is accountability at the county level by the governors and by the county governments. So to do that, we need to be effective and we need to be seen on the ground. That's why we have those offices.
He, however, says the document was not supposed to have been made public at this time.
This document is pure and simple work in progress. And it is not like it started today. So maybe the most unfortunate thing again is that whoever decided to leaked it at this time, either to intimidate Senate, either to show Senate in bad light.
Kakamega Senator Boni Khalwale has also added his voice to the debate, stating on his Twitter page that the proposals are not guaranteed to pass in the Senate. Kenyans who spoke to KTN have expressed shock at what they have called blatant greed by the senators, with these proposals surfacing at a time when the government is introducing more measures to reduce the wage bill.
Why can't they improve the lives of common mwananchi? Let them work for Kenyans, so that from that we will realize the work they have done. After that is when we can reward them.
There are other IDPs outside there. They need a home. Some people, people need life. People need life. So it is not good for me. I will say it is not good at all.
I really don't think it's the right time because of the status of our economy.
These sentiments have been shared by Kieni Member of Parliament Kanini Kega, who said senators have no right to ask for any more money even before the constitution has been fully implemented.
If they are asking for any extra fund so that they can move around the counties, they first of all need to also justify their role in the counties. In essence, their presence in the counties has not been felt.
The heat on the senators to drop this bid to have their salaries hiked is only bound to increase, even as the Senate grapples with finding the culprit behind the leaked document. Wilson Mburu, KTN, Nairobi.
Where reports suggest that a key Al-Shabaab commander of Kenyan origin may have been killed in Monday night's drone attack by the United States.
On its part, Al-Shabaab has confirmed that 6 of its fighters were killed in the U.S. airstrike in Lower Shabelle region.
Abu Ikram and Al-Shabaab's top commander Ahmed Abdi Ghana are believed to have been the key masterminds of the Westgate attack in Kenya last September.
Now, the Pentagon has confirmed that their latest airstrike, Abu Ikram and Al-Shabaab's top commander, that is Al-Amdi Godane, have been killed in that attack that was carried out in Lower Shabelle region at 240 kilometers south of Mogadishu.
Although the U.S. government could only say they are assessing the results of this strike, the Al-Shabaab spokesman says that they have lost some of their top commanders in that attack.
No, but another account of that strike has a very significant bearing on Kenya's fight on terrorism. Now let's take a look at what that story that is, of course, focusing on Abdul Qadir Mohammed Abdul Qadir, also known as Ikram. Let's take a look at who is he. Those are the questions we are seeking to answer this evening, and he's a Kenyan citizen of Somali origin. He is said to have been born in a middle-income family in the coastal town of Mombasa before his family moved to Nairobi. Kenyan intelligence reports suggest that he did live in Eastleigh here in the capital, Nairobi, before he left to seek asylum in Norway. That is in 2004. For him to live in that is 4 years later. Now, when did he join the Al-Shabaab? That is a key question. It is not clear how he was encompassed into Al-Shabaab because his movements became blurry. That is after 2006. But in 2007, he was in Mogadishu. That is in Somalia, and his role in the Al-Shabaab setup was as a strategist, an extreme strategist as that, according to American intelligence reports, saying that he could plan extremist agendas. A commander with responsibility for logistics, he said to have been, that is Ikrema. Also, he's said to be protected by about 20 guards. Also said to be an active recruiter of foreign fighters, and a possible link between Al-Shabaab in Somalia and East Africa and Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula. Now, what terror activities did he or his accomplices manage? That is, leaked intelligence reports suggest that he is wanted. He is linked to wanted international fugitive, that is Samantha Luthwaite, also known as the White Widow. He is believed to have been one of the masterminds of the 2013 September terrorist attack on the Westgate shopping mall, with some calls coming from the besieged mall going out to Ikrima inside Somalia, as well as some contacts inside Uganda. Ikrima is also said to have been associated with the planners of the 1998 bomb attacks of the U.S. Embassy here in Nairobi, as well as the 2002 attack on the Paradise Hotel in Kikambala. Now, he has been very hard to capture, obviously, following those attempts in recent years, and he has a $9 million bounty on his head, as well as 2 other accomplices. Now, he speaks Swahili, English, Somali, although not so good Somali, as well as Norwegian and Arabic, making him very easy to move in those countries, and his links that go beyond Africa and into Europe and Pakistan, as well as Yemen, making very hard to capture. Linda.
Indeed, Ben, let me pick up from where you have left. We are focusing on the Al-Shabaab commander, Abu Ikrima. The Twitter handle for Al-Shabaab clearly says that they lost one of their commander, Abu Ikrima. We are not sure, really, if he died in the airstrike, the U.S. airstrike. We're waiting to get a full confirmation of that as well. And the other man the U.S. government wanted dead was Ahmed Abdi Godana. We have a tweet as well saying that he may have been killed in that attack. We're waiting to confirm that. Let's bring in Abdi Wahab Sheikh Abdi Samad, Horn of Africa specialist. Thank you so much for joining us on KTN tonight. You've listened in to Ben Kitili and his Super Wall. Who is this man, Abu Ikrima, and why is he so important to Kenya?
Abdul Qadir, Muhammad Abdul Qadir, also known Ikrima, was some section of the research are saying he's Kenyan Somali origin, but I dispute it. I disagree with it. He was born in Somalia, but he came to Kenya when he was a very young boy. He speaks Somalis, Kiswahili, Arabic, and also Norwegian. He is a top planner of the Westgate shopping mall. If you look at the structure of the Al-Shabaab, we can classify into 4 categories. Those who believe the Islamic global jihadist, which one of them is Abdul Qadir, Muhammad Abdul Qadir, and those who believe they are going to establish an Islamic state within Somali borders.
Okay, we're going to look at the 4 groups later.
And other group is, let me finish, the other group is those who joined because of the invasion of Ethiopia and Somalia. So in fact, he belonged those who believe the global Islamic jihadist. He's a young man, well-trained, well-informed. He is also familiar with Kenya and neighboring states as well.
So if indeed he is dead, what is the significance of this in the war on terror?
If it's confirmed, the death of Muhammad Abdul Qadir is a pro to Al-Shabaab militant group. It's also a big win for the Western and also region. If it's confirmed that, it's a relief for the region as well. But it's subject of confirmation. Up to now, we don't confirm whether it's dead or alive.
Why is it a relief to the region?
He's a most dangerous element within Al-Shabaab, one of the most dangerous elements within Al-Shabaab. He was a possible replacer. In fact, if Godana is confirmed death, then he's a possible, Ikrama will replace the Godana. So he's a well-trained young man, very energetic, good mobilizer. Above all, he's a ruthless leader.
So where was he trained? Who trained him?
Sources are saying he was trained in Somalia. He joined Al-Shabaab maybe 7 years ago or 8 years ago. Al-Shabaab, they have a training camps within southern Somalia. So he has gone through all those training. He was close, loyal to the Ahmed Abdi Godana, the Al-Shabaab leader. So possibly he was the one they are going to groom to replace that guy if anything goes wrong.
Is there any reason why the US would want him dead?
He was, the brain which is behind the Westgate attack. He was a brain which is behind. He was planning to attack the US embassy in Nairobi, and also even the Kenyan Parliament building. So he was one of the wanted list among the Al-Shabaab leaders.
Of course, subject to confirmation whether or not he is dead. The second man that may have been killed in the airstrike is Ahmed Abdi Godana. Let's focus on him. He's also an alias Mukhtar Abu Zubayd. There's a tweet from the Al-Shabaab saying, if I may quote, that a tweet claiming to be from Al-Shabaab, and it says, "We came to know Mujahideen Emir Sheikh Abu Zubayd has been martyred in an enemy strike near Barawe." This is a man the US had hoped it had killed in this particular strike. Who is he? How important is he?
Ahmed Abdi or Muhammad, known as Godane, was born in Hargeisa, the Brego Republic of Somaliland. He is a gifted orator, charismatic leader, organizer, and also a ruthless leader. The guy, he was a founder of the Al-Shabaab terror group in 2006. He was trained in Afghanistan. He's a well-trained person, well charismatic. Also, if it's confirmed, it's a pro to the terror organization. It also could be the end of the beginning of the Al-Shabaab. Could be. So
his death could actually be the end of Al-Shabaab as we know it.
That's what we are predicting for. If that is confirmed, but if Godana was dead, then there is no question about that. Those elements within Al-Shabaab who advocate for the establishing Islamic State within Somali borders, then they became a separate group from other guys. Let me go back to the issue of the structure of Al-Shabaab so that you can understand the clear picture how Al-Shabaab works.
Okay.
We classify into 4 groups. The first group is global Islamic jihadists. Those guys that are saying we are going to spread Islam from Chile to China, from Cape Town to Canada.
So the second
group, those who join to establish an Islamic Emirate or Islamic State within Somali border.
The third
group, those who joined during the Ethiopian invasion to Somalia for patriotic reasons, so that they are going to defend the dignity and territorial integrity of Somalia.
The fourth group?
And the fourth group, those who joined because for livelihood, or maybe they came from the minority tribes, so that they joined for survival tactics, or for revenge purposes. So if it's confirmed,
yes,
Godana was dead, Muhammad Abdul Qadir was dead, that will be a pro to them, so that they can easily split over the fourth group.
Okay, so is this some sort of a game changer in this fight against terrorism, in the fight against Al-Shabaab? They have lost key towns as we speak. The AU troops are heading towards Barawe. Are we beginning to see the end of this fight?
Yes and no, because it depends how the AMISOM rescuing force behave on the ground. If they gain the minds and hearts of the people, then they can easily defeat Al-Shabaab.
It depends on the people.
Depends on the people. The other thing is, those who still believe what you call establishing the Islamic State within Somali border, they became a dominant factor within Al-Shabaab.
All right. Thank you so much for speaking to us, Abdi Wahab Sheikh Abdi Samad, Horn of Africa specialist. Thank you for your sentiments, of course, trying to help us understand what could be happening in Somalia, and if indeed the U.S. strikes killed 2 top commanders of Al-Shabaab, what does it mean for the region? Let's stay with that, and suspects in that Westgate attack are still in custody here in Kenya, and today they accused the government of covering up the alleged torture at the Committee prison. The suspects are among a group of 14 detainees who are alleged to have been seriously injured in the incident with prison warders. They claim to have suffered broken bones, dislocations and deep cuts during what is only described as an incident at the Committee prison on August 27th. The accusations came after the prisons department ignored a court directive to present them in court for trial today. However, prison authorities claim they were unable to produce the suspects in court due to what they call security reasons. The suspects' lawyers, on the other hand, claim the prison authorities were shielding them from the public due to the serious injuries they sustained.
Let's move away from that, shall we now? Elsewhere in the city, 2 workers' unions have rejected the ongoing biometric registration of public workers, terming it as illegal and an excuse for massive layoffs. Catherine Omando reports.
In government facilities, the fingerprinting and everything that goes with it is on course, but it's not smooth sailing for this latest attempt to bust the ghosts in Kenya's public service. Now, the Central Organization of Trade Unions has joined in the fight, calling for a stop to the exercise.
President Moi computerized the civil service long time ago. Kibaki improved on what Moi had put in place. And we can't be told today, at this age and time, that this is the time biometric system registration will be able to address the issues of ghost workers.
And just like the County Government Workers Union, Atwoli claims that this is just another way for the government to bring down that ever-high wage bill.
You can't ask somebody who has been working for the last 30, 40 or almost 50 years or 55, 56 with 4 years to retire, I want your original letter. That is an abuse.
If the process is continued, the unions want the requirements to be relaxed. But even as the unions threatened to take the government to court on the matter, the registration process began in earnest on Wednesday morning. Civil servants in Nairobi are the first to go through the process. It almost resembles that of the voter registration that took place in early 2013 before the general election. The difference here was that the civil servants had to come with their original letter of appointment, certificates and birth certificate. But this is after they had gone through the first point of verification, which includes filling out a data form.
The person who receives these things and verifies them for the first time is the human resource manager of the officer the ministry where she's working. So once the human resource manager has verified, the human resource also goes along and verifies the way she has filled or he has filled the forms.
In the second point of verification, which is the biometric registry, the workers will have their personal details, including fingerprints and facial features, digitally encoded into the system.
If they don't have fingers, the facial biometric is there, and there are 12 components or features in the face that the facial will take and will be identified with.
Catherine Omwando, KTN.
Down at the coast, the battle for control of the Kenya Ports Authority has taken a new twist, with coastal leaders now asking for a monstrous 80% of the jobs to be reserved for coastal residents. Now, KPA Chairman Danton Mungatana is warning that such a margin would conflict with the spirit of the Constitution. Ferdinand Omondi now reports on that latest fight for a piece of the port.
A section of coast politicians were at the port on this day on a mission to seek clarity on a number of issues, key among them concerns over a proposed privatization as interpreted by the dock workers. They also sought to find out how much of the KPA cake had been sliced for their people.
Sababu bandari iko hapa, lazima watu hapo wapate zaidi kushinda wengine. Hiyo ndio msimamo wetu kama wanasiasa.
And while it sounded a valid suggestion, the parastatal's chairman revealed that the margins some of the coastal MPs have suggested were borderline outrageous.
Members of parliament here have suggested even 80% of the absorption and employment staffing should be from the region. Even the constitution may not allow those kinds of proportions.
This new demand presents a new battlefront in the quest for control of the KPA. Previously, coastal leaders led by Mombasa Governor Hassan Joho have called for control of the port to be handed over to the county government. It was a quest that never gathered momentum following a resounding rebuttal from the president himself. Joho then changed tune, proposing a slice of KPA revenue to be channeled to the county government.
The issue of revenue or any form of cooperation will also have legal implications. So where is it that it is possible to do things within the law?
The new proposal to significantly raise the margin of locals working at the port appears agreeable to both parties, but concerns linger on the mode of implementation.
For example, if someone comes and is qualified for a certain job and you remove him just because he comes from another county and not the counties on which we operate, it is not fair.
Hata kama Wakenya wengine wote wataandikwa, lakini ianze hapa.
What we have now at 55%, we can definitely build on it.
Even residents of Mombasa were sharply divided when the 80-20 suggestion was mooted to them.
Zamani ilikuwa Kenya yote ni moja, na hata hivi sasa ni moja, lakini sasa ina majimbo. Kwa hiyo ni muhimu kwamba kila majimbo yapatikane watu ambao wanaishi katika lile jimbo wawe watu wa kwanza, wapate first priority kwanza, alafu watu wengine waangaliwe.
Ayo si sawa, juu Mombasa ni city ya kila mtu.
Maybe if we could give them like 40%, that could make something reasonable, but 80%, that is too much.
I think we also have learned people in the Coast Province. I think they should pick people here who can lead the KPA.
Kama wewe kwa mfano wewe ni Mjaluo, mimi ni Mduruma, naona kuna tofauti. Sote tuko wa Kenya na tunasaidiana. So hii mali ni mali ya umma. Yule akipata kidogo na mimi nikipata kidogo, mimi naona ni sawa.
It's a debate that has always elicited a lot of passion, and with the advent of the new constitution, there exists a valid argument of giving more local jobs to the locals against the very real threat of promoting regionalism in the process. Ferdinand Mondi, KTN, Mombasa.
Part of the land that has actually been grabbed there is the office of the Ministry of Land itself. What's going on?
Yes, indeed. Today, the Lands Commission was in Eldoret Town, led by the chairman, Mohammed Swazuri, who says that they are investigating about 500 parcels of land. Ironically, the Ardhi House itself stands on grabbed land, including the State Lodge, where the president spends when he's in Eldoret Town. The county government offices also sits on grabbed land, which was initially the municipal grounds. The judiciary, the High Court sits on grabbed land, the district hospital. It's crazy. A lot of state buildings sit on grabbed land. So the commission says they will verify this information first, then put it out to the public. Linda?
Mercy, that grid is just not on land. From what I understand, it has also moved on to fuel.
Yes, indeed, Linda. Today in the morning at about 9 a.m., the police in Eldoret Town arrested 3 people. We talked to the Eldoret OCPD, Smollett Moyanzi, and he says that it's one cartel that they have been trying to follow up for a very long time. So this happened in Medina area, just a few kilometers from within Eldoret Town. They arrested 3 people, including the driver of an oil tanker, his conductor, and the owner of a site where oil tanker drivers drive in. It's just near the road, so they drive in, fuel is siphoned there, and then it's stored in an underground well that has been constructed, where fuel has been put there, and then it's adulterated and sold to the public. And the area OCPD is now calling upon members of the public to take note of this suspicious activities and report it to the police, because today's event, the arrest was made because of a tip-off from the members of the public. Linda?
So when they sell this fuel to the public, is it at a subsidized rate? How much does it go for? Do you know?
Well, I may not know exactly how much it goes for, Linda, because then it's an illegal cartel and they sell to particular people. Every time an arrest is made within Eldoret Town, the cartels lie low and then come up again. But then the fuel is sold to particular people within Eldoret town. So Linda, we don't know how much exactly it goes for, but it is quite an illegal business, and it is also very dangerous to the area residents, because in the manner in which it is handled is also very alarming. If someone passes by with a cigarette, it can blow up any time. Linda?
Clearly, there's a lot of danger there. Mercy, finally, before I let you go, you have been covering the story on health workers and their grievances and the issues they want addressed. What's going on your end?
Yes, indeed, Linda. Today in the morning, the Kenya National Union of Nurses, Seth Panyako, was in Uasin Gishu County at the Eldoret District Hospital, and they are calling for a 21-day strike notice. And they're saying that the county governments have, they have failed in terms of handling the devolution of the health services. And they're saying that the nurses, especially who are under the economic stimulus program, need to be employed on permanent basis. And this has not yet happened according to an agreement they signed with the national government. So what Seth Panyako, the Secretary General, is calling for a nationwide country strike for all the health practitioners. And this, over time has been a devastating state, and those who feel the pinch of it most being the patients. That is what has been happening here in Uasin Gishu County.
Central Bank of Kenya's Monetary Policy Committee has held its benchmark lending rate steady at 8.5%. This marks the 15th straight month that the key lending rate has been held despite inflation accelerating beyond the government's upper band and the shilling coming under increased pressure. KTN's Michael Karanja kicks off tonight's bulletin.
Since May 2013, the central bank has maintained a rather rosy outlook of the country's economy. To lower interest rates in the country, the MPC docked the central bank rate, which is used as the base rate at which it lends to commercial banks, by 1% to 8.5%. For the next 14 months, the bank has maintained that there are no fundamental structural pressures or inflation, but will pursue a tightening bias in the money market to continue to anchor inflationary expectations. August inflation burst the government's upper band of 7.5%, hitting a 24-month high of 8.36%, attributable to rising food and energy costs. The MPC, however, believes there is no immediate danger with inflation, adding that it had averaged 7.1% between January and August. Analysts predict that inflationary pressure will subdue in September, with 280 megawatts of power coming onto the national grid. On the currency front, the shilling has been under pressure, forcing the central bank to intervene, injecting up to 30 billion shillings to tame rising interbank rate. The CBK, however, says with accelerated government spending in line with the 2014-2015 budget, the shilling is bound to correct itself. The CBK has $6.4 billion in reserve, equivalent to 4.21 months import cover, which it says is enough to cushion the foreign exchange market against any temporary shocks. Michael Karanja, KTN Business.
Competition for subscription is heating up in Kenya's pay TV market after StarTimes rolled out its digital television satellite service dubbed StarSat. StarSat will complement StarTimes through growing the company's subscriber base by diversifying content and widening its digital offering. The new satellite service goes up against MultiChoice Kenya that has enjoyed market dominance due to its ability to get premium sporting and entertainment channels on its platform. StarTimes, however, says the company is bringing out a war chest with investments quoted in billions of shillings to pump up its programming. There has been renewed interest in the Kenyan pay TV market with the looming transition to digital broadcasting. Kenya becomes the 9th African market after Uganda, Malawi and Tanzania to host StarTimes satellite service. And there are just 27 days left before Kenya loses her preferential access to the European market following failure by the East African community to finalize the 12-year-old economic partnership agreement talks on time. Although the deadline is not until September 30th, the country has to factor in a 3-month approval process from the European Union Council, which means the real deadline was the 1st of July. Here now, Adelaide Chengole explains why Kenya could pay dearly for this reality.
Kenya has enjoyed duty-free access to the European Union for the last 38 years, allowing the country to gain 38% market share in the EU market and foster 110 billion shilling horticultural industry.
25% of your total exports go to the European Union, of which 90% are agricultural commodities.
But all this will be gone from October as the EU removes the preferential access and subjects Kenyan goods to normal taxes that range from 0% to 30% for produce exported to the European Union. For 12 years, the East African community has sat at the table with its EU counterpart but has failed to reach a consensus. Failure to have agreed by July this year means that goods from Kenya, which is classified as a developing country, are essentially time-barred and will now attract the heavy import duty.
There would be now, as the situation is, there would be a gap, an interval within which Kenya will have to pay import taxes.
And these players in the sector say will cost Kenya at least 500 million shillings monthly and push the already beleaguered floricultural sector to its knees. To forestall this, National Treasury had said it was mulling a deal that would see farms refunded their taxes once the deal is signed.
As long as we sign as a block, they will be able to refund any taxes if they levied from 1st of October.
But the European Union has rubbished this suggestion, saying such a decision is not feasible.
Legally speaking, the European Union may not be in a position to compensate for these kind of losses. You must know that we are in trade negotiations with many other countries, not only with ACPs and with African countries. All over the world we negotiate. So if we make such kind of commitments with everyone, at the end it will be impossible.
Instead, they say the best plan is for the EAC to cut their losses and finalize the talks as fast as possible to reduce the period that Kenyan farms will have to pay the taxes.
We have to focus on now is to make the gap so short as possible. So it can be a gap of 1 month, it can be a gap of 2 months, but all depends on the willingness of both parties to conclude these negotiations as soon as possible.
Everybody by now has had enough time to consult with their leadership, to consult with their private sectors, civil society, with everybody. We've had enough time. And so now it's time to sign.
Kenya's horticultural industry generates $1 billion a year and contributes about 1.6% of the country's GDP. Adelaide Changole, KTN Business.
And well, the search for Bobby Williamson's replacement at Gor Mahia is over, and yet another Scottish coach is ready to take charge. The Kenyan Premier League champions have signed Frank Neville on a 3-month trial contract in which the Scot will be charged with helping Kogalo defend the Kenyan Premier League title. Out of 31 applicants, including former coach Ravko Lugarusic, the Gor Mahia management arrived on Frank Neville from Scotland, a decision that was possibly influenced by fellow Scot Bobby Williamson, who has enjoyed a good relationship with management as well as the players at Gor Mahia.
And if you look at his CV, you'll find that he's in that field of fitness that we've been lacking quite a bit in the team.
Nathal lacks an African coaching pedigree, and his only coaching role has been at a Chinese side as an assistant coach. He arrives at Gor Mahia with just 7 Kenyan Premier League matches remaining, with pressure to defend the league expected to intensify.
Pressure's not a problem to me. I enjoy the pressure. I enjoy the challenge.
Although Kogalo chairman Ambrose Rachel says that Bobby Williamson will be guiding the newly appointed coach, Nathal insisted that he is his own person.
Kama mtu ambayo ametuacha wiki mbili iliyopita, lazima mueleze, kwa kuwa wanafahamiana, lazima mueleze mwenzake ya kwamba hawa fulani ni huyo, fulani ni huyo.
And the previous coach is a good guy and a very reputable coach, but he's his own man and I'm my own man as well. and he did it his way, and I'll do it my way.
The Scots' first role will be to lead Gor Mahia to friendly matches against Simba and Yanga in Tanzania, with his signing getting a thumbs up from Gor Mahia players.
It's a positive change, and I'm sure that whatever is going to offer to the team, it's going to be for the betterment of Gor Mahia.
Gor have also signed goalkeeper trainer Matthew Owino Otomax and Tom Ongweno as they plot to retain the league title. You know, a club with a lot of foreign players and a foreign coach, but then again I'm told that Gor Mahia is the Real Madrid of the Kenyan Premier League. But moving on, Kenya will play host to the first round of the Hockey World League starting this Friday to Sunday at the City Park Hockey Stadium. Host Kenya, Egypt, Tanzania and Ghana will be battling to proceed to the next round of the World Hockey League as the road to Rio Olympics takes shape.
As a team sport, we really need to go out of our way, and we have also written to sponsors to come in and support us so that we make this sport perform to its excellency.
We do not have any injuries to report, so we're having a full house, we're having everybody on board, and we're hoping for a good tournament.
And to some rugby news now, after winning the opening 2 legs of the Safaricom 7 series in Nairobi and Kisumu, as well as the Prince Law title in Nakuru, Curtis Olago's KCB outfit is on the right track for the second consecutive series title, playing in what has been termed as the tournament's pool of death that entails potentially tricky encounters against homeboys and Impala, as well as a seemingly straightforward encounter against newly promoted JQ at Kogas. In Pool B, top fry Nakuru will line up against Pan-African Strathmore Leos, Total Nondis and Mean Machine. A resurgent Mwamba RFC has reached the cup semis at the past 2 tournaments and will look to better that showing at the weekend tie in the Pool C.
Are using those of MCAs?
Svet says no, instead of demanding off-road vehicles, they should demand better road networks and infrastructure.
Finally, Atregaholic asks, where is that money?
Thank you for your comments tonight.
Wasiliana na marketing officer wa Kenya Power katika ofisi yoyote ya Kenya Power iliyo karibu nawe. Upate maelezo jinsi unavyoweza kupata stima kwa urahisi.
Let's do this all over again tomorrow, shall we? Thank you for watching KTN Prime. Sleep well. I'm Linda Ogutu.
My name is Ben Kitile. Good night from the Standard Group Center.